Hello, everyone. Welcome to season 2, episode 6 of my LinkedIn live series. I was on vacation last week, so starting up the series again this week. My guest today is Kathryn Bennett. She is a RFP or request for proposal process slayer. That's her day job. But on the side, and what she's been doing for the past few years, she's in Strongman competition. So she's a world record holder there. Really curious to hear about how she got into it, her journey through that. As well, she's a public speaker and she's looking for public speaking opportunities. So, Kathryn, how are you doing today?
I am great. It is so wonderful to be joining everybody today on this LinkedIn Live and with such an auspicious host, somebody who has done so many of these wonderful presentations. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be on your show today.
Yeah, thanks, Kathryn. Yeah, so I did a 52-week challenge last year. This is episode 6 of this year. But every single live stream is different. Every single guest has their own personality. Every single guest has their own experiences, and every topic is different as well. So we'll be talking about strongman competition. We'll be talking about mental toughness and mental health as well. Those are very important topics today. But to get started, Kathryn, do you mind introducing yourself? What are you all about?
Yeah, a little bit about me. So I am a current senior manager of proposal operations at a women's telehealth organization called Maven Clinic. So that's my day job. I've been doing technical communications and proposal work for about 13 years. And on the side, I love to do strength sports. So about 4 years ago, I got into strongman and heavy weightlifting. I got sober actually 4 years ago tomorrow, if you can believe it. It will be my sober birthday, and so this is really good timing. And so I got into strongman at about that time, and since then I've really used a lot of those same principles to add to and accelerate my career. So that's a little bit about me. I live in Western Colorado, up here in the mountains. I absolutely love it, and that's a little bit about me.
Well, thanks for sharing. Congrats on your upcoming anniversary tomorrow.
Thank
That's
you.
that's definitely a big deal. And I mean, you found something that you're passionate in now to help you steer away from that. And there's a lot of different lessons learned, or not lessons learned, but a lot of things you can apply from your competitions, from your training. It takes a lot of discipline, takes a lot of hard work into your day-to-day life. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? How the connection between what you do for strongman competitions to what you do in your day-to-day life or even at work?
Yes. So first, let me tell you what strongman is, because I think that there are a lot of misconceptions. People think we're power lifters or bodybuilders, which those people are wonderful and fine, but that's not what we do. So a strongman competition is those guys and gals that you see on the television picking up the big rocks and
Mhm.
doing the big log lifts overhead. We pick up very rudimentary objects. So it's kind of like you get people out in a field picking up stones, right? There's every competition consists of 5 events that are kind of pulled from a pool of maybe 25 existing events. Some of them are a surprise, some of them you know in advance. And actually, this year I will be headed to the USS national competition in Manchester, New Hampshire on June 26th. And so that's my next competition. The weights that I usually lift, I carry around about 550 pounds on my back on a yoke, or I
Whoa.
can deadlift 475 pounds. Like I haven't tested my max recently, but I did a 450-pound deadlift the other day, and I can bench press about 250 pounds. So that's kind of like the level of training that I'm at. And I'm 37, so I'm almost in that master's category. So the interesting part about this is I started training about 4 years ago. I just went to a commercial gym and decided that, I had just gotten sober. My body felt achy and painful. I'm like, I need to start moving around a little bit, right? And so I just went to a commercial gym, and my trainer turns to me. He goes, "Hey, like you're pretty strong." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm strong." And he's like, "No, no." You probably need to start doing something with this. So I signed up for my first all women's strongman competition, and the name of it changes: strongman, strongwoman, like nomenclature varies. But I went out there, I got second place in my first show, and the rest was history. I have built a practice around it. It's an integral part of my life, and I am obsessed with the sport of strongman. My world record is in a grip sport. You see me playing with this little
Mm.
O-ring. I always have this in my hand because I really care about grip, and so I actually have a competition coming up for that in April. So it's exciting times. Yeah.
Wow, very cool. Thank you for sharing that. I just bought a house recently, so I'll be moving in the next month or so. I'll definitely call for your services to help me move tables and beds and things like that. But no,
Happy to help.
joking aside, I can really see the benefits of just doing that workout. we were all affected by the pandemic, right? We were all staying at home, and unfortunately, a lot of people their physical health suffered, right, because of that. They're not going to the gym anymore. They're not eating right. And my fiance, she bought a Peloton in the middle of at the beginning of the pandemic, and it really helped build up that discipline for me to work out every day, even when I don't feel like it. I got to keep my daily streak going, even if it's a stretch, right? I still got to take care of my body. And then last year, I wanted to do a different fitness goal every single month. So one thing I did was I challenged myself to do 100 push-ups a day. And I did that for the whole month, and eventually, and I changed it to 100 sit-ups the next month a day, and then 100 squats every day for the next month. And eventually, that melded into doing at least 2,021 of each of push-ups, squats, and sit-ups every single day, or not every single day, but every single month, and just having that cumulative. And I've been doing that ever since. So it's just amazing to see. You just start. You start going to the gym. You start doing a daily little workout. And eventually that just builds into a habit that you have to do every single day. And for you, Kathryn, you joined your first competition, you got second place, and the rest is history, like they say.
I think what you said that really kind of piqued my interest there is that there are days that you don't want to go to the gym. And I think it's really important to realize that even, I'm considered an elite athlete at this point. And it's a large percentage of the days that I don't want to go to the gym, but I want to compete. And so I think it's really important to because we need to get rid of this notion that like every day that you're grinding towards a goal is pleasant. A lot of it, the concept that we have in Strongman, and it comes from an old military adage of embracing the suck, like embrace the difficult parts of what's going on around you. And, this can be in your work. It can be in your everyday life. It can be at the gym. But like a lot of it is really hard. And we do it despite that because we want to conquer the challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Last year, one of my goals was to run 100 miles in a month. And, if you do the math, that's at least 3 miles a day or 4 miles a day. And I was even going to take vacation in the last part of the month. So I said, okay, I got to run for about 4 miles a day with no days off. And then during that month, I got vaccinated, right? So the day after, I'm basically shot, right? Like, I'm just, the side effects of the vaccine. But then I was just like, my body just feels, like I need to move around. I'm just stiff because I'm in bed. I'm just on the couch all day. So I went out, ran 5 miles, and it sucked, but I felt better that I did it after the fact. So it's all having that goal of something to work towards.
Absolutely.
All right. I want to say hi to Rod. He's in the Bay Area with me as well. So happy Friday to you as well, Rod. So yeah, you were talking about competing. Sometimes it just or working out. It just sucks. You don't want to do it. That ties into mental toughness. So how do you build that mental toughness? Maybe it's pushing a lot of weight. Maybe it's just motivating yourself to go work out for a certain amount of time. How do you build that mental toughness?
Yeah, I think there's two dimensions of this. And one of them is really understanding and getting very clear on your goal. And the other is knowing when to pull back from pushing yourself to the max. So the reason I love heavy weightlifting is because it allows me to see what the what I can achieve as a human being, because I want to see what my limits actually are. And frankly, I haven't really reached them yet. So we're just going to keep going. But when I think about mental toughness, the most important part is being able to have clarity towards an end goal. Because if I'm just there to do it and I don't have a reason to be pursuing this activity, then it makes it a lot harder for me to stick with that activity. So that's why I chose to compete in the first place, is that I said, well, if I've got a competition, I'm probably going to be more motivated. And now I do have clarity as far as my future goals go athletically. I want to win a national title. It's something I'm really, really pushing towards. And I have clarity around that. And so that really keeps me convicted in what I'm doing in my everyday life. And the second part is that I have to know that sometimes I have reached my limit as far as my own personal capacity to train, and that sometimes it may be time to kind of pump the brakes a little bit. So I'm the type of person who needs a trainer not to motivate me, because I'll be at the gym every day. I don't have an off switch. But when the best part about mental toughness, the mental toughness that comes along with this for me, has been learning when to say no and when to slow down a little bit and when to preserve my energy for whatever the next rush is. And so there's those two aspects, right? There's the knowing when to gut it out, and there's knowing when, if you gut it out, it will hurt you. And all of those things take practice in the gym and at work.
Yeah, absolutely. And you made a great point. So with setting goals, especially with physical health goals, it's good to have something quantifiable, right? Because you could just say,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm going to the gym every day," or I just want to get healthier," or "I want to lose weight." And it's just, well, how do you quantify that? Yeah, I could just show up to the gym, badge in and then leave, and that counts as going to the gym, right? Or I can lose weight. Well, how many pounds do you want to lose? 5 pounds, 10 pounds? When do you want to lose that by? So, my example, um, earlier about doing 100 push-ups a day. It
Mhm.
was quantifiable. I have to do 100 every single day. And then, now I've expanded to doing, at least 20, or now I think my goal is 2,500 of each every single month. So then it's like, okay, I can slack a day, but I have to work a little harder the next day. So maybe, I'm out all day on the weekend, I'm doing errands. Okay, it's okay. Maybe I only did 50 of each. But the next day
Mhm.
when I'm at home or if I'm working from home, I have time to do 25 or 50 at a time just to continue that. So it's very important to quantify. And you make the other point you made was great as well. You have to know what your limit is, right? So make sure you don't hurt yourself when you're trying to achieve those goals. Make sure, that's why I break it down to, oh, I have to run 4 miles a day or 3 miles a day. It's a little more achievable than, oh, I just have to go around and run 25 miles a day. That's physically going to hurt me a lot more. So it's good to set those quantifiable goals and actually break it down to make sure that they're achievable.
Yeah, and if I had walked into the gym the first day and picked up, a 475-pound deadlift, things would have gone really poorly. Like, number one, I wouldn't have done it, and I would have been very discouraged. And so I think what people need to understand, when we're thinking about building mental toughness, it's not a switch we flip on. It's a muscle we build, and muscles require rest, and they require consistency, and they require repetition. So even with my career, like, none of us started as the CEO. Nobody starts as a business owner, or very few people do, right? We have to learn and build those communication skills and that tenacity. And if you feel like you're not already there, then that's okay. You can practice and you get the opportunity. Like, if you have a bad day at the gym, you have the opportunity to come back and do it again next time. I love that what you said about breaking it down and saying, like, you know what? I didn't feel strong today, but I'll come back tomorrow and I'll be stronger. That's a very good point.
Absolutely. We have a comment here from Kevin saying, "Yep, hurting yourself will be a setback, right? So don't push yourself way past your limit, and then you hurt yourself, and then you're out of commission for a week or for a few months or something like that." And I
Mhm.
just want to add on to the mental toughness competition, the mental toughness, not competition, conversation, that like you said, it's a muscle, right? So over time, your muscle, through repetition, through consistency, it gets stronger and stronger. And someone, early on in my career, gave me this advice saying we all build up a Teflon layer, right? Teflon is a strong material. It's
Mhm.
flexible. It
Mhm.
bends but it doesn't break. So as you go through your career, as you go through your training for a competition, you get stronger and stronger. You face more and more adversity. And so, yeah, now I'm a program manager. Would I have seen myself being able to balance so many different things, talk to so many suppliers, or work with so many different people? No way. Right when I came out of school. But as you go more and more into your career, more and more into your training, you start building up that Teflon layer. You basically just become stronger, mentally, physically, whatever, because you
Mhm.
face challenges throughout your career, and as you've gone through the challenges, you know that you can achieve these things. So when I'm ever facing a tough day at work or I feel so overwhelmed, I look back and said, I was able to work as a project manager, managing 7 projects while also taking 3 classes at the same time for my master's. So what I'm dealing with today with the stress from home, stress from work or whatever, it's nothing compared to what I've gone through. And I was able to complete my job and complete my classes. So always look back and look at your past challenges that you were able to overcome, and that really sets that perspective to what you're going through today.
Absolutely, and don't compare yourself to other people, I think too. That's one thing that I kind of, heard in what you just said, and also, may I recommend, both in the gym and in everyday life, having a coach, because we can go fast. Was it the saying? Go fast alone, go far together. Um, I train with other people who are proficient in my discipline, and that means in the proposal management space and in the gym. I don't. I'm not an isolated athlete, even though I compete by myself in solitary events. Having a coach has been an absolute game changer for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Have that support group, right? You'll push
Mhm.
each other. For Peloton, my fiance, we make sure we work out every single day, right? Just to continue to keep our streak going. We motivate each other. If you're looking for a job, surround yourself with other job seekers, right? And again, don't look at it as a competition, but look at them at, oh, well, congrats, you just got an interview. What did you do to get that interview, or what did you do to get that job offer? And that's how you learn and support each other, because you're not the only one going through the struggles you are going through today. Find that support group, and everyone can support each other to get past that and achieve your goals.
Absolutely.
We got a fitness question here. I don't know if Kathryn's the best person or is qualified to answer, but you can share your 2 cents.
Yeah.
Robert is sharing, and actually, I haven't been to the gym in a while. I just work out at home. But he asked, I must have reached a plateau on bench press. How do I increase that?
Okay, Rod, I'm going to recommend number one, that like I'm not a certified personal trainer, but my suspicion is that there might be 2 things going on. Number one, you might want to check your form, make sure that you are pushing the weight in the most effective way, because small tweaks to your form, if you've been training for a long time, can lead to more success. And number 2, honestly, this is paradoxical, but if you lay off of just doing, like if you take maybe a 6-week cycle away from bench press and you go diversify your activities, this holds true in career stuff too. Go diversify your activities and maybe start working with dumbbells a little bit more, because you can get a little bit more stability and also work out the muscles that are around your pecs. So yeah, get a form check from a qualified trainer and diversify, take a step away from the bench, try something else for a little while, and then come back and see if that works.
Yeah,
so I'm glad someone brought that up. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. I mean, it's, sometimes you just need a break from things, right? Especially with your physical body. Take your muscles. You're using the same muscles every single day. It's good to take a break. When I was running that 100 miles in a month, I was being consistent, but there were days I was like, okay, I'm going to take a day off, and that actually helped me to recharge and recharge and get more energy back to my muscles. And sometimes I just go for a run. I'm like, oh wow, it's been a while that I've run, but I still can go run out 3 or 4 miles here. And Rod appreciates your advice there. So Rod, let me know what the results are in 6 weeks from now.
I think it's really important. You talked about rest, and for me, I've had some really challenging stuff going on in the last few months. My dog died, and I moved. I had a lot of turmoil and tumult, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose so much of my physical strength, because I was like moving furniture, but I wasn't really adhering to my programming, and my nutrition was kind of off, and I was really, really worried. And I'll tell you, I was back in the gym 2-3 days ago, and everything's fine. My body is fine, because I've laid that foundation. And that's what I think I'd like to impart to the folks who are watching today, is that when we invest in this toughness, we invest in this strength, and we invest in this durability of spirit and body, what we're doing is we're protecting ourselves against adverse effects that come our way in the future. That could be like a grief event, or it could be a physical illness or injury. But if we're building up that muscle mentally and physically, then small things can't knock us off course, and even big things don't derail our entire lives. So that's kind of why I think it's important to pursue that training.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let's transition to our next topic here. So we talk about how to build that mental toughness. It's a muscle. You have to work on it. It's repetitions, consistent. Why is it important to have mental toughness? We talked about this briefly. What are your thoughts on this, Kathryn?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. My motto, 3-4 years ago, before I started all this fun stuff, was, when the going gets tough, the tough just stop, right? Like, because I would just get tired and frustrated, and I throw in the towel, and I'd say, to heck with this, let me try something else. And what did this cause for me in my career? Well, I bounced around a lot, and I got a lot of different skills, but ultimately I didn't really build enduring presence in my industry. And also I really struggled with having to constantly get new roles and like prospecting new jobs, which is one way you can live, but it really wore me out. So for me, I think there's not only the personal aspect of, getting that reward from sticking through the difficult thing and like figuring it out, but also just the practical benefit of not having to make as many changes in life. Right. And of course we know that when a situation isn't for us, it's maybe time to just, to roll out. And I would challenge people here to push through those adverse circumstances, because otherwise you don't really know what you're made of, right? And I think in the most challenging circumstances, that's the biggest learning opportunity. So I've had the biggest opportunities come to me after I have faced the biggest challenges and overcome those. So the reward is there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this refers to the Teflon layer I talked about, right? So
Mhm.
you've gone through some challenges, you've gone through some adversity, and that made you who you are today, right? You're able to whatever comes up, you're able to attack it. And when I go talk to students at my local university here, talk about my career journey, and I asked them, what made, why did you decide to come to this event, or what made you choose your major, and just hearing all their different stories about, yeah, I'm the first one in my family to go to college,
Mm.
or I'm paying my way through college, I'm working 2 jobs, and if I once I'm in that position to make hiring decisions, to build up a team, I'm looking for people like that who actually had to work so much harder than the typical person to get through college, to get their first job, to start their career. Because those people, if I give them a tough challenge at work, they're able to fight through it because they've gone through something much tougher than that before.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful perspective as a hiring manager, to hire for tenacity, not something you hear a lot.
Yeah, and that's something you can't teach, right? You don't learn that in school. It's just something you go through in your career, in your life, and it's I don't want to call it innate, but it's just part of who you are, right? And because you've gone through something challenging, maybe you grew up in poverty, maybe you moved homes a bunch when you were younger, something like that. It just really builds who you are, builds your character.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It makes you a good team member too, in my opinion. You're
Absolutely.
most people who go through that are willing to extend their hand and help others.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, let's move on to our last topic here. So we talked a lot about mental toughness. It's important to have it. And you're, in the last 4 years since you joined the strongman competition, you started training for that, and you built up this mental toughness. How has that affected your day to day life, or even your day to day work?
Absolutely. Well, so back in 2017, I got fired and I deserved it in late 2016, and then I entered 2017 as just a weeping puddle of human. And I made it into a part-time job. I made it into a part-time job at a psychiatric facility as an art and activities coordinator, making like pittance wages. Um and that's kind of where I see as my ground floor. And I started there by like not giving up on difficult days and just taking those small steps, not giving up in my sobriety, not giving up at the gym, right? And it built this virtuous cycle where again I have resilience, but also my perspective has shifted so dramatically on what is a big deal, right? So I'm just able to weather everyday storms much easier. And as I've slowly kind of ramped my career back up, I've also just kind of gotten an appreciation for the wonderfully small delights that we have in our life, right? Like a nice little candy treat, or when somebody says something complimentary on the job, or when I hit a 5 pound PR. My word for 2022 is actually delight. And I
Mhm.
think that that's what mental toughness, like you think, oh, mental toughness, like grinding, dirty, grunting people in the gym, right? But mental toughness for me opens up a new world of delight because I can endure that like base level challenge that life brings to me. And so I think it's just elevating everything to a different dimension. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that word, right? You said your word for 2022 is delight, and that's just really it. I think perspective really matters, and I shared this in a previous video or in a previous post where the challenge you're facing today is temporary. When I was in my previous job, I was working on projects, and we're supposed to qualify a part, and the first test it just completely fails. We have to do a complete redesign of the part we're building, and it sucked, and it's just like you can't quite see the end to it because it's just like we're just facing failure after failure. But it's all about perspective, knowing that everything has an end. Every challenge, every adversity that you face has a challenge. So as the project, as we went through the qualification, through the redesign, and we just celebrate the little wins. Okay, we
Yeah.
passed the spec, we passed the next test, and we just keep moving through. And it's like, okay, now I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So with any challenge that you go through, like you said, focus have a different perspective, right? Focus on the positive, celebrate the little wins along the way, and if things ever get tough, think about the word delight, because that really changes your perspective into something much more positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, it's okay to be really angry and really frustrated and sad. Like, all of those things are natural human emotions. I do like to look for the positive attributes in whatever is happening. And sometimes I just sit for a second and I'm like, oh, this is the suck and I'm going to embrace it. But I just I don't want to feel it right now. But accepting the reality of what's in front of you is always advantageous as opposed to wishing that things were different.
Mhm.
So, you can only do so much.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's definitely okay to show your emotions, to cry about it.
Mhm.
My fiance is probably gonna hate me for sharing this, but you know, I just said we just bought a house and we were going to open houses at least 6 to 7 weekends in a row. We looked at least about 30 homes. We put out 5 or 6 bids, and I mean, she broke down because we were getting outbid. We were overbidding on homes that we really didn't even like, but we are just tired of home buying. We just wanted to get a house, and you know, she broke down, and I just said, look, it's we're not the only ones facing this challenge. There's so many people facing this challenge, and we can be patient on this, right? We don't need to move out right now and then buy a house. We have time and patience to do this, and you know that is just just let her cry it out. We'll talk about it. You know, I'm going through the same challenges as you. I'm not showing the same amount of emotions, but I'm facing the same challenge as you. And you know, we were able to buy a house 10 days ago, and we
Oh,
are able to, it's basically a brand new house. We got it under $1 million, which I know it's expensive in a lot of places, but it's cheap in the Bay Area. We are able to get it under $1 million. It has everything we were looking for in a home. So if we weren't patient and started overbidding and pushing way too much, we would have been unhappy with the result because we way overpaid for a home. But we're really happy with the result we have here. So with any adversity, it's okay to show your emotions, to go through that challenge, but just know that it's only temporary. There's always going to be an end to it, and you just have to look forward to when that challenge ends or when that adversity ends as well.
yeah, you don't have a choice. You have to get back up. Like, you
Yep,
can be a puddle, you can be a crying puddle of human for a while, and then you have to get back up.
yep,
It's time.
absolutely. So it's
Congratulations.
definitely okay to do that.
Yeah.
All right. So as we wrap up here, I just want to say thank you so much, Kathryn, for sharing your insights here. I learned a lot about the strongman competition. Again, you really changed my perspective on it. Really good to hear your journey through that, how you built that mental toughness, how that helps you in your day-to-day life. And I just want to give you the last couple minutes here to plug anything you have. What do you have upcoming? How do you help others, or what do you need help with? Here's her LinkedIn profile. Kathryn Bennett writes. Make sure you connect with her. You want to share anything you have that's upcoming?
Yeah, well, the most exciting thing is I mentioned that I am competing in the USS Nationals in June, and on the date that competition occurs, I'm also dropping my book, which is called Productive Pain: My Life as a Strong Woman, and it's all about my struggles in sobriety and in the gym, with some writing prompts and journaling opportunities for folks who want to progress their own mental toughness. It's an instruction manual and a mini memoir, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope that you will all join me on launch day to learn about that. You are more than welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I also do have my own website, warmaidenfitness.com, where you can follow my efforts in Strongman and also my path to opening a women's and non-binary folks oriented weightlifting gym. I got a
Very cool.
plan. It's on its
Yeah,
way.
definitely a very inclusive environment, right? With
Yes.
weight training and lifting. For people who are interested in getting your book, is the website here, War Maiden Fitness? Is that the best place to get information about it?
Yes, there's a whole section about the book. I will be putting, I'm not entirely sure where it's going to be for sale yet, so just stay tuned, but you can find all the news and updates there and on LinkedIn as well.
All right. So make sure to connect with Kathryn on LinkedIn. Go to warmaidenfitness.com, learn more about her journey, as well as get the latest news on her book. That's very exciting to hear. That's going to be coming out in June. Best of luck on your competition as well. And if you need some
Thank you.
extra training, just come over, help me move some furniture, and that
Well,
would help you win that competition.
yeah, we can go for a run. It'll be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for commenting. Thank you, Rod, for your comments as well. Have a great weekend, everyone. And I'll talk to you all next week.